Good morning. I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your Pet's Ally. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. Don't have a lot of questions today, so we'll jump right into them. So on the Facebook page, Chrissy is asking if there's anything special she needs to add for a 4-month-old puppy. She's got a 15-year-old dog and kidney failure and recently adopted this 4-month-old Chiweenie. So what else does she need to add for development? And the good news is that the older dog is actually eating better with a little competition. So with a dog that small, I think you should be able to get away with just feeding CrockPet. For larger breed dogs, sometimes it's tough to keep up with their caloric needs just because of the volume of food. But what you can do is add in more food if needed. And what you may need to do is actually, if you're finding you're having to feed almost double what the recommended quantity is, you may end up wanting to actually double the supplement as well. So again, the weird thing in veterinary medicine is that we don't base supplementation on the weight of the pet. We base it on per 1,000 calories, which is just bizarre, but this is the way it gets done. So, aside from your transition from what she's been eating to cooked food, then you're fine, taking that a week to 2 weeks to transition her over to completely cooked food. So, Jamie, you're right in that for large breed dogs, we often do have to feed some kibble just to keep up with it. But because the CrockPet diet is complete and balanced for all life stages, that means that you can feed it to everybody, young, old, and in between. But you may have to increase the volume of food that you feed or use some additional fat or carbohydrates to kind of bump up the calories. So I hope that is helpful. And Chrissy, congratulations on the new baby. And glad that that's actually getting your old man moving and grooving a little bit more. Zoe's asking if how to cook it in the oven, and Erin, you're exactly right. 275 to 300 degrees for 6 to 7 hours. Generally, adding the starch, cooking it separately is easier because you're less likely to burn it. But if if you leave it in the oven to cool, it will end up cooking the grain up pretty efficiently too. And then again, these really cute molds that Kathy turned us on to last week. And I think there's one more question that is not on the Facebook page from Sarah. And she's got a 10-and-a-half-year-old male rat terrier that's been on CrockPet diet for 2 to 3 months. And he's usually over 20 pounds, but he is getting super skinny. And so she's worried about that and kind of what to do next. And what I would suggest doing is again, bump up the volume of calories. If he's looking really skinny on a cup per day, he may need a cup. So that's a half a cup twice a day, then maybe try 3/4 of a cup twice a day. And what I would do is, if you have a scale at home, that's awesome and super easy. If you do not, take a tape measure and put it, so if this is his chest, put it around his chest, right behind the elbows and right in front of the back knees, so you have reference points for the future, and measure. What you should see is that he gains something like a 1/2 inch to an inch, and certainly you're going to see his ribs look a little bit more covered and things of that nature. So just bump up the volume and see if that doesn't get things taken care of. If after 3 or 4 days you're not seeing weight come back on, then I would bump it up to a whole cup twice a day. So volumes of food are estimates based on kind of ballpark figures. And so rat terriers tend to have a much higher metabolism than, say, a Great Dane. So sometimes you end up feeding an astonishing volume um, for a dog based on their weight. So for frame of reference for Hayo, she gets about a quarter of a cup twice a day, and she's right at about 7 pounds. And she gets some other treats and things of that nature. So, but she looks good at that weight, and her activity level is not super high. And I think what you're doing as far as supplements goes, the holistic total body support for cats and dogs, and then the Iceland Premier omega fish anchovy fish oil omega-3s is great. We're going to be discontinuing that because we've had some complaints about quality here and there. What I am super excited about is Standard Process has developed an omega-3 fatty acid supplement in much smaller capsules. So we're talking, sort of this size instead of, fish oil capsules this size. They're about 450 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids per cap. They're in an appropriate ratio. And you'll hear me talking about this towards the end of the month, but the super cool thing is that the new sort of ballpark dose is somewhere around 36 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids per pound for a pet that's relatively healthy. But there's some really, really cool stuff coming up on that. So I think, and Jamie thought she was going to get a break. I'm not sure on what, but yeah, Mr. Willie's pounding the chow for sure. So I think that's all I've got for you this week. We're going to be doing another a Facebook Live on the 28th of this month about omega-3 fatty acid, and also some really interesting information about a test called OmegaQuant, where you can actually take a sample of your pet's blood, put it on the card, send it to the lab, and then they will be able to tell you exactly where your pet is as far as an optimal omega-3 dose. No break from cooking, Jamie, you're a slave to the kitchen. So, but this is really awesome because this helps us, like we have ballpark doses that we know work, but this is going to help us get into an optimal range for each individual pet. And the test is not that expensive. I think maybe it's $60 or something like this. But this is truly exciting because that way you're going to know exactly, do I need to add, 50 milligrams per pound? Do I need to give 100 milligrams per pound? Do I need to give 15 milligrams per pound? So this is going to really help pinpoint the dosage that your specific pet needs. So anyway, look for some information on that. And I think that's it. Unless you all have questions, I'm going to get ready to do our iPets Ally broadcast in about 20 minutes. For those of you that are not iPets Ally members, check it out. This is where I answer pet health questions in more detail for people. And then we do also have a weekly kind of topic that we'll work through. And this month, we're going to talk about pica because several of our pets of our iPets members have had massive problems with their pets. So Karen, yeah, because of your little guy, I would cancel it because it's a big jug, and my guess is that it's going to go rancid before you have the chance to use it all up. The way they've been packaging it, I think, is great because it's in a non-reactive aluminum bottle. And it's got a pump on it, but for little smaller pets, I think it ends up going rancid before you have a chance to use it all up. So yeah, I would consider that. And then if you head over to the store, you can check out, 26 pounds exactly. So, doing the math real quick, 26x 36, so that's about 936 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids per day you're going to want to use. Let's see if I can look this up fast enough so I can show you the link. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . check this out. So this is the new product, and the goal again, it's from a sustainable format. It's omega-3s derived from anchovy and sardine, and again, they're excellent at processing out all of the all of the contaminants, and this will help balance out that omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. So, their dose is somewhere around so your pup's right at that break between 1 and 2 soft gels per day. But, and I'm sorry, the page layouts are not as good as I would like. So we got 450 milligrams total of omega-3 fatty acids. Let's see here. So you can see this is the tablet size or the capsule size. You can also snip these open, which I think will be helpful. And Karen, you're right. If you got a quarter pump, yeah, you could look at a smaller bottle if you wanted, or this is the other option too. So again, fish oil from anchovy and sardine, rosemary is in there as a preservative, and astaxanthin is a really interesting antioxidant if you're not familiar with it, but that's kind of more geared towards brain function as well. So check that out. I think they just started shipping this, so let's see. Yep. Yeah, so I think they've just started shipping, so it should be coming pretty quick. So again, that's what I've got for you today. I'm going to jump over to the iPets Ally group in about for 15 minutes. So until next week, remember your pet's best health starts in the bowl. I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally.